Okay, welcome to this video, how to set up your Origin planted substrate system. This is an introductory video just to basically show you how simple it is to get a good complex substrate for growing your plants. So we're going to start off with the first of the substrate layers. You don't have to use this one. Some people choose to use it, some people choose to omit it. That's totally up to you. This is the Origin Subflow base, and this is used as the first layer on the aquarium. Okay, but the thickness of this very much depends on the type of aquarium you're using, the effect you're going for. There's lots of variables that you can take into consideration. Gives it a bit of height. What some people do is they will basically here, they will have a piece of card to pull any sub layer back from the front glass and just simply fill this area up with decorative gravel because they prefer the look of it. I personally I'm not bothered either way, to be honest. I prefer my aquariums looking quite natural, not nature aquariums as such, natural aquariums. So I'm actually going to leave it, so along here you are going to see from the outside the base layer and the planted nutrient layer. Now, up to you for this one. You can just leave it as this inert base. This product's inert, British, and it's just there to increase flow. Or you can choose to mix other products in, such as the cinder or charge or various other products that you can mix through here to give it another layer as well as a flow layer. So simply done. Now I'm going to add in some of the decor that we're going to use. Obviously take your time. Take your time doing this and make it look how you want it to look. Some people choose to add the rocks in later. I think, yeah, maybe this one's a bit too big. A few smaller ones in. Nice. Yep. There we go. So keeping it quite simple for the purpose of the video. So now we move on to your nutrient layer. So this is the sub layer. Now we're going to get the nutrient layer, which is what plants are going to use. And the one we're using here is Origin Al. So like I say, I'm not planning on putting carbon dioxide in this aquarium, and even if I did, it would simply be a yeast type setup, or if I did go with pressurised, I'll keep it a very low amount of CO2 going in. Okay, so we add in the nutrient layer. This is going to provide your plants with the macro and micronutrients that they require to grow. Trace elements going to be where your bacteria grow. It'll also aid the filter. What we can do now is we can smooth it down. A bit of any debris that have fallen in. I say it's a blend which has got elements such as the earth product that we use at RootsBelow. This has got a lot of goodness in it for the plants. Also got the cinder, which kind of keeps the substrate healthy, improves the flow as well. We've also got in here the flow element, which increases the water movement, and we've got extra goodies from the cinder, helps hold on to nutrients and things like that. So I mean, obviously I'm going to show you this to completion, but that literally is it. We have along here the original layer, then we have the nutrient layer. We can't just leave, well, you can leave it. I wouldn't advise you to just leave it like this, because every time you pour water in now, you're going to get murky water. However, I do grow some of my plants just on a soil base. So what we're going to do now is we're going to cap this off with a decorative gravel. Okay, so on now with the next stage, which is putting a decorative layer in. So obviously this is very much personal taste. I've just collected some, actually I haven't collected them, these are Scottish pebbles that I bought in. Obviously nice to have more British products in. Then, oh. Give a good covering to lock all that nutrients in. Don't worry if it's not 100% right to begin with. Literally just getting the bulk in. We can start moving it about in a bit. Just moving it around now. Obviously in between the stones I chose to put the planted original substrate as well. So we need to make sure that we get some of the decorative capping layer in there. It might seem a bit silly the fact that I've covered some of these stones up with the gravel, but obviously in nature stones do get covered, and a little bit of stone peeping out looks quite nice and natural. Look here. Quite liking that. Might just put a bit of sand down here. I don't want too much sand. I'm not the biggest fan of sand in a planted aquarium. I know loads of people disagree with that, but in all my years I always find it kind of compacts a bit. But put a bit for a bit of detailing. Obviously as the water goes in, it'll kind of wash it through a bit and things, so it won't look quite so, like quite such a severe change in substrate. Now add a few more pebbles in. Okay, so should be good now to start getting a bit of water in here. Okay, so everything's in. I've also added a bit of British azalea root, well that's stem actually, for a bit of detailing. And I'm now just going to slowly start adding some water. I'm sure you're not going to want to watch this whole thing, but you can see I've put a piece of kitchen towel down. Obviously owned it with expensive kitchen towel, otherwise the cheap stuff falls apart. Basically that should hold it enough that as I'm pouring this in, it'll start topping up. As to whether this azalea is going to stay down or not, that's a different issue. Okay, so moving on to the final stage now. As you can see, said before, you've got everything you need in here now, except for equipment. I'm not putting a heater in this one because it's not going to be a tropical aquarium. It's going to be indoors, so we'll call it temperate. I'm simply planting this up with some bits and bobs that I've picked up from some of my other aquariums in the house. I haven't had a chance to go out to get any plants specifically. So when you see a lot of these aquariums online, where they look absolutely stunning, immediately it's the volume of plants that have been put in. Far be it for me to guess your financial position, but you know, for the vast majority of people, you can't get that effect straight away because it's a lot of money on a lot of plants. So I'm just trying to give a more realistic outcome, shall we say. I knew that would happen. That's the azalea root. They are buoyant for quite a long time. I've tried my best to jam it in. Give it another go. They eventually absorb the water and stay down, but it takes several weeks. So let's see how many times we can it can float up on this one. Maybe we'll do a special offer if it does, if it gets to 10. Okay. So like I say, yeah, as I was saying, you know, they're beautiful. These aquascape tanks are beautiful, and the skills of the people doing it are incredible. But the reality is, it's a lot of plants, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of maintenance as well, actually. I'm trying to set up a low maintenance way. Let's get rid of them roots, adventitious roots that have appeared. A nice planted back corner. Also got a couple of little tiny pieces. This is Limnophila, so whatever type of aquarium you're doing in regards to freshwater planted, whether it's a dirted tank, an aquasoil type aquascape aquarium, nature aquarium, jar aquarium, or whatever, the more of these types of fast growers you get in to begin with anyway, the better. Some little tiny pieces here just to bring it through. Come on. Stay there. Like I say, it's a very basic planting because I've just scrap together some stuff out of my other tanks. But hopefully it'll be enough just to give you the idea. These cuttings will grow lovely as well. So it can be a bit of hit and miss with plants, you know, when you put your plants in. Some might not like your water conditions and things, and you might find that ones that you absolutely love, after a while you have to just take them out because they haven't done very well. That's even with a high-tech aquarium. Obviously they've got a better chance than a high-tech because they're literally, it's like a 5-star accommodation for them. This is a crypt, like shown on some other videos. I mean, the root systems that these develop are absolutely huge, with a good substrate. So let's just chop these down a bit. So chop the roots off. That one's just going to go almost like a centerpiece. Like I say, keeping this very simple. And for future videos we'll have a look at doing more complex setups. Get that down there into that nice nutrient layer. Bit of a wiggle. We're just going to get a little bit of sediment coming up, and then that is a nice little simple aquarium ready to grow in. Like normal, always add some floaters. Always sounds a bit wrong saying that. We've got some nice Sylvinia there. Get that in. It does grow like mad, this stuff, once it gets established, which is great because ultimately your that plant growth is actually coming from the nutrients in your aquarium. So any excess nutrients in the water column, these guys will pull out for you. Prefer using these things like duckweed. Duckweed's amazing, but it's also a major pain in the posterior as well. So I think that's about us done. So I'll take a couple of pictures now and show you what the front looks like. Like I say, you don't have to expose the bases. Some people like to cover everything up, but we'll see that in a second. And so here we are, finished setup. It's only a very small aquarium. Don't be fooled into thinking you have to have a massive aquarium to have a nice looking aquarium. I mean, massive aquariums do have an advantage with them having extra volume and better stability and things, but with this very small aquarium you can have a lovely looking tank. So we have the plants at the back, the Limnophila. We have the British Azalea roots. Hopefully some of these will be available on my site soon, so once again get rid of these air miles on the ones people are buying. The Spiderwood. Got some Scottish pebbles. Some more of the plants. Unfortunately these plants, even though they come out of the plants, I know for a fact they're not British. From memory I think they're from Singapore. So I have found a supply, but British plants, but it's limited, so and I'm still looking into that. Okay, so then we come down to the substrate. Obviously we've got the inert kind of gravel and sand. Can't remember where they're from. They're just random bags I've got left over, so I can't say for sure whether they're British. But then we get here, and you can see that you've got the Origin Al planted substrate with all the nutrients in it, and then you can see underneath that you've also got the Subflow, Origin Subflow, and these together will give you your planted substrate system. So I hope that's nice and clear. Sorry, the last bit's freehand, so a little bit wobbly, but yeah, hope you enjoy using the products and having a go at making your own one. Give us a shout if you do make a mini tank, and let us see what it looks like. Cheers, bye.